Almost 2 weeks ago, my wife and I bought a house. We had been searching for a long time but couldn't afford anything until we found the house. It's a 3-story house, basement, first and second floors, with 4 bathrooms, 8 rooms, and a huge garden. It was perfect and within our budget. My dream home. When it came time to sign the papers for the house, there were only the realtor and me. That's when he mentioned to me, just before signing, that the house was supposedly haunted. I might have responded, "As long as they help with household chores, we'll be fine," and signed the papers. He seemed happy to have sold the house. We moved in on Monday, and everything was fine until Friday. It started with something small, just a broken vase. I told my wife the cat did it, and she believed me. I knew it wasn't the cat, because she was outside, and I saw the vase take a small leap off the shelf. On Saturday, it was the open kitchen cabinets. I told my wife we just forgot to close them, but since then, every night I woke up before her to close all the kitchen cabinets, because every night they would open. All of them. Creepy stuff. On Sunday, while my wife was showering, I decided to join her. But when I entered the bathroom, I noticed there was text written on the foggy mirror. I quickly wiped it off before joining my wife in the shower. Every time my wife showered, I would wipe the mirror's fog with the corner of my eye. On Monday, we heard our first voice. We were sitting with my wife in the living room when we heard a clear child's voice saying hello from the other end of the room. I pretended not to hear it, but my wife went pale. She heard it clearly. I managed to convince her it was just some kid outside she might have heard. We also laughed about it because the idea of her hearing a child inside our house was absurd. Tuesday, things got weirder. I woke up freezing, and above me were a child and an old woman. Both were whispering something. Then I fell asleep again. I didn't think much of it until my wife mentioned over breakfast that she dreamt of a child and an old woman standing over me in bed whispering about how I resembled him. It gave me goosebumps, but I knew if my wife found out about the haunted house, she'd want to move out as soon as possible. But I didn't want to leave my dream home. Finally, we had a place with a game room, and I had an office to work in. On Wednesday, my wife went to visit a friend, and I stayed home to work. While working, my cat entered my office and began staring at a spot on the floor. She never came into my office, so it caught my attention. That was until she began aggressively scratching and hissing at the spot, and then I inspected it. I noticed the wooden floorboard and some around it were different from the rest, so previous owners might have made changes to the room, and the cat might have noticed the wood scent and hated it. After I inspected the spot, the cat left the room, and I continued working. After work, I went to the game room and played BG3, great game, with headphones on and forgot about the floor. When my wife came home, she entered the game room, kissed me, and left the room. 5 seconds later, I heard her scream, and I ran to her. She was standing in my office, looking at the spot where the cat used to scratch, except all the different wooden boards were torn up, lying around a new hole in the floor. I claimed I did it because I didn't like how they didn't match the rest of the floor, and I would soon look for new boards. It didn't make her scream, however. Inside the hole was a roughly drawn pentagram with our wedding photo in the center. It really required gaslighting, so I did it. I claimed it was a joke. That I wanted to make a pentagram with our photo in it and write to her, "Oh my God, this is really our dream home." Halfway through, there was already our photo. Destiny is truly strange, I told her. I thought it would be scary, not funny. So I forgot about it and just forgot to remove it. She believed me, but I can't make it any clearer. I didn't tear up the floor. I didn't draw the pentagram, and I didn't put our wedding photo in it. I'm scared, but I am not moving out of this damn house. On Thursday, I saw a child in the hallway while sitting on the toilet. Yes, I use the bathroom with the door open when there are no guests. Cat owners know why. And I saw him leaning against the doorway, looking at me sitting on the toilet. Creepy little pervert. Later that same day, my wife saw an old woman in our garden. Fortunately, it was an instant disappearance. So convincing my wife her mind was playing tricks on her was easy. This brings us to today. Friday. My wife woke up screaming in the middle of the night because today a woman, and a child stood over her, whispering that it would happen soon. Unlike me, my wife wasn't paralyzed, so she screamed and woke me up. When she screamed, the woman and the child disappeared in an instant, and my wife started crying. Hours passed until I convinced her it was just a nightmare, but she was still trembling after that. We ended up cuddling on the couch until she fell asleep in my arms. Luckily, she fell asleep when the whispering started around us. It was clear it wasn't just the child and the woman, but at least two men and a smoker. It scares me, but I am not moving. I am not moving. Throughout this, I've started to feel bad about lying to my wife and watching her experience terror. Should I be honest and tell her the truth, just hoping she's ready to fight for our home? Or keep staying in my dream home, continuing to scare her? At the moment, we can't afford to move, and I don't know what to do.